Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Girivara Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Together please Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Udirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki Om Ajnanati Mirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksharan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Prabhupada Priya Shri Girirajaya Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adigaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you all for assembling today for Srimad Bhagavatam. Feel very embarrassed to sit here because there are many wonderful senior devotees present in the audience. But it's my service. I've been assigned this service, so as a offering to my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada and to everyone present here, I'll continue. So today they said it's the speaker's choice of verse. So I would like to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 29, which is Explanation of Devotional Service by Lord Kapila. 29. 3. Yes. I'll start from 7. So just a brief, very brief background is this is Lord Kapila, the son of Mother Devahuti, who is an incarnation of Krishna. So Lord Kapil is here. His father has left home and he lives alone with his mother, and he is now instructing his mother Devahuti on devotional service, giving some really wonderful, very instructive points here on devotional service. It's 329.7. So I'll read the Sanskrit. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhakti Yogo Bahuvidho Marger Bhamini Bhavyate Svabhava Guna Margena Pumsam Bhavo Vibidhyate Bhakti Yogo Bahuvidho Marger Bhamini Bhavyate Svabhava Guna Margena Pumsam Bhavo Vibhidyate. Please repeat. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhavyate Svabhava Guna Margena Pumsam Bhavo Vibhidyate. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhakti Yoga Bahuvidho Marger Bhamini Bhavyate Swabhava Guna Margena Pumsam Bhavo Vibhidyate. Matajis. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhakti Yoga Bahuvidho Marger Bhamini Bhavyate Swabhava Guna Margena vibhidyate pumsam bhavo vibhidyate. Synonyms. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. The personality of Godhead replied. Bhakti Yogaha. Devotional service. Bahuvidha. Multifarious. Marge. With paths. Bhamini. O noble lady. Bhavyate is manifest. Swabhava, nature. Guna, qualities. Margena, in terms of behavior. Pumsam, of the executors. Bhavaha, the appearance. Vibhidyate is divided. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Kapila, the personality of Godhead, replied, O noble lady, there are multifarious paths of devotional service in terms of the different qualities of the executor. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness is one, because in pure devotional service there is no demand from the devotee to be fulfilled by the Lord. But generally, people take to devotional service with a purpose. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, people who are not purified take to devotional service with 4 purposes. A person who is distressed because of material conditions becomes a devotee of the Lord and approaches the Lord for mitigation of his distress. A person in need of money approaches the Lord to ask for some improvement in his monetary condition. Others who are not in distress or in need of monetary assistance but are seeking knowledge in order to understand the absolute truth also take to devotional service, and they inquire into the nature of the Supreme Lord. This is very nicely described in Bhagavad Gita 7:16. Actually, the path of devotional service is one without a second. But according to the devotee's condition, devotional service appears in multifarious varieties, as will be nicely explained in the following verses. Here in this verse, it's very interesting. In the translation, or in the Sanskrit, the word is Bahu Vidho, Bhakti Yoga Bahu, multifarious, many. That there are many paths to devotional service. But then in the purport, the very first line, Srila Prabhupada says, pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness is one. So there is a immediate apparent contradiction, where the translation says it's multiple paths, but Prabhupada saying is just devotional service is just one. So how do we reconcile this? Just explain that that devotional service actually appears to be multifarious or multi-branched when it is tinged by the qualities of the executor. Because there are 3 modes of material nature: goodness, passion and ignorance. And when the execution of a person's devotional service is mixed with these qualities of goodness, passion and ignorance, then it becomes contaminated, the execution. So devotional service is one. What Prabhupada is saying is very true, because the Shuddha Bhakti, or the pure state of devotional service is one. There is no other variety to it in the sense of it's a principle. But a devotee's execution of that devotional service is tinged by his nature, qualities, and so on, and therefore it appears multifarious. He explains that the symptom of pure devotion is actually it's unadulterated by any modes, any material modes, or any material motives. It is this mixed or contaminated bhakti is called mishra, mishrit, which means it's mixed, it's not existing in its pure state. And then there can be many types of mishra bhakti or mixed bhakti, which is karma mishra, jnana mishra, yoga mishra bhakti, where the motives of the executor are present in the performance of devotional service. So karma mishra is where, like Prabhupada said, one is expecting or desiring some material benefit. It could be money, it could be any material desire, maybe a spouse, or a good spouse, some wealth, a home, or whatever. When the person is desiring that while worshipping Krishna, then that is karma mishra. And then sometimes someone is more intellectual, little more advanced, or detached to material desires, then he or she may desire jnana, the cultivation of knowledge, that I want to know more, I want to learn more, I want to become a very big scholar or a very learned person. Therefore they worship Krishna because they understand that devotional service does yield knowledge, right? Vidya vadu jivanam, as we understand from Shikshashtakam. The devotional service does give rise to knowledge. But if knowledge is the goal of devotional service, then that becomes contaminated. And then yoga mishra, where someone is desiring to develop mystic powers or mystic abilities or some yogic abilities. Sometimes people are very much influenced by the aspects of trance and samadhi in devotional service. They aspire for those levels of consciousness that, I may experience trance or these ecstasy or these symptoms, or sometimes devotees also develop some siddhis while performing devotional service. So, but when that is the goal, that the development of those siddhis or the development or the experience of samadhi, trance, or those experiences, higher experiences, if that is the goal, then again it becomes mishra, it becomes contaminated. So like this, there are contaminated devotional service based on the desires and qualities of the executor, but still it is encouraged, but still it's good because there is some recognition that Krishna is the supreme, so they are still approaching Krishna. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama tivrena bhakti yogena. So that verse from Bhagavatam where it said that whether one is full of material desires, saturated, completely full of material desires, or one is free from desires, or one desires liberation. So whatever may be one's aspiration or intention or expectation, they should still stick to devotional service. They should still approach Krishna. And the solution is Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, which is in the next line of the same verse. That Tivrena means intense. Intense practice of devotional service is the solution to these previously mentioned contaminations of approaching Krishna with desires. How can one be purified from that? Is by practicing. Abhyasa, practicing, but not just practicing, tivrena, practicing with intensity. And so what is this intensity? Any ideas, or how can one practice with intensity? What does it look like? What does intensity look like? Tivrena. Yes, Prabhu.
Aspiring for devotional service
24 hours a day? Yes. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas Chintayantamam, always, without stop, think of me, without breakage. So yes, 24 hours. Yes, Prabhu. Prabhupada's example of trying to spread Krishna consciousness. Could you elaborate, like what aspect of that? As kirtan. Hmm. 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 So preaching could be an example of intense devotional service, preaching. Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Hmm. Yes. Yes. Hmm. Thank you. Yes, Mataji. Attentive. Hmm. 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 Being aware, intentional, and attentive. Yes, very true. It's very, very important to improve the intensity of devotional service, to be attentive at least, and intentional, having the right intention and proper intention, and being aware of what you are doing, not doing it mechanically or just for the sake. Yes. Any other points? How can we improve or increase intensity? Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Hmm. 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 Yes. Yes. Very important. Yes. I was recently listening to a class, and then the speaker mentioned that there are two practical ways by which you can increase your intensity of devotional service. The two ways are, one, increase the quantity, and the other is increase the quality. And you can do both of them, but either of them helps. But ideally, both should happen simultaneously. If anyone is very serious about devotional life, spiritual life, then it is extremely important to increase the quantity and the quality. Quantity can be quantity of rounds, quantity of services, quantity of reading, listening, preaching, speaking, book distribution, so on. And quality is often the most important aspect that most of us miss. Is that we may be sometimes very amazingly engaged, or very intensely engaged, or in terms of quantity, we are doing a lot, we are spending, so many devotees are full-time devotees, in the sense that their only engagement is service, their whole day is engaged in services. But sometimes devotees miss to take a pause and see if the quality of what they're doing is at par, or is what it should be. quality means, again, intention, attention. Are we putting our heart in the process, or are we just doing it because someone told us to do, or because we theoretically understand that, okay, this is good for me, or because we don't have anything else to do? Or there can be so many reasons for a person's performance of devotional service that we will be amazed at how, with different motivations, people do devotional service for years and years, actually, sometimes. And then if they have not applied their heart in this process, then it's hard to see any movement or any change over a long period of time. And then one may wonder that the process does not work. Satchidananda Swami once said that when he was younger, he was chanting for a long time, and then he could not see any change. So he questioned himself. He said that, oh, is this process, it doesn't work. Satchidananda Swami's conclusion was that this process does not work. He was already in ISKCON, he was initiated, and he was chanting. And then he said that he was contemplating that, oh, maybe I should leave and I should join Sufism, because he was, it's like so mystic and it's so amazing, Sufism. So he said, maybe I should join Sufism and try that out. But then somehow he said no. He felt some attachment with Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada has accepted me. I've taken vows. Let me try. Let me contemplate. Let me introspect. And then he said, that did Prabhupada cheat us? That did he give us something wrong? Or the process does not work? Or is it my execution of the process that is troublesome, or that is lacking? So then his conclusion was that there's a problem in his execution of the process, that he's not putting his heart in the process. He was chanting his rounds, he was chanting his 16 rounds, but his heart was not in those rounds. He was chanting just as a process, just as a mechanical process to fulfill the vow to his guru. And then he started actually hearing his rounds. He started paying attention, and he used to sit in a solitary place and chant, and then so on. And then he had amazing experiences, which he writes down in his books. If anyone is interested, Broken Names is one book which is amazing. In the last end of this book, he writes his own personal experiences with chanting, which are it's out of this world. But yeah, he achieved, or he got those results, or he got that reciprocation from Krishna because he was able to put his heart in the process. And like that, we have so many examples. Ayendra Prabhu and so many devotees. We can see past acharyas, present devotees around us, who really, when they chant with attention, or when they put their heart in the process, you can see that transformation. Again, Satchidananda Swami, once he was having dinner with His Holiness Giriraj Swami, and he was saying to Giriraj Swami, he was expressing himself. We know how Maharaj Satchidananda Swami, he organizes these japa retreats and these japa seminars to help people improve their japa. So he was saying that, Maharaj, for many years I have been teaching people all these sitting postures, these meditations, and these tips and tools and techniques to improve their japa. But after all these years, I've come to the realization that you cannot conquer Krishna by any technique. He said, after all these years of teaching, I've come to this realization. You cannot conquer Krishna by any technique. But you can show that you care. And that really stayed with me. It was so deep and so profound, so simple, but so profound that yes, these small tips we may avoid, like chanting with attention, or trying to sit in be in a quiet place, and wake up early in the morning, chant our rounds in the morning, chant all 16 rounds together. These are small tips that we've been hearing for many years from our seniors, but we may think, chanting itself is enough, these small things don't really matter. But these things are, or these aspects are a way to show Krishna that we care, that we want to improve the quality of our chanting. Chanting early in the morning, chanting with attention, being in the right posture. These are just ways to express our care that I'm serious about my rounds. I'm serious about the quality of my chanting. Chanting is meant to please Krishna. The act of chanting is not for me, that I may achieve self-realization or I may attain my swarup or so on. It is an act to please Krishna, and then it is Krishna's gift once he is pleased that he may reveal our swarupa, he may reveal our relationship with him, he may purify our heart and so on. Cheto darpana marjanam, that whole verse is a gift from Krishna. So that gift must be earned by expressing our care, that we really care about this process, we really care about our relationship with Krishna. And that care is expressed through attention, through developing intensity, through putting our heart in the process. Otherwise it becomes a very impersonal process, and that impersonal tendencies shows in our life. Our impersonal tendencies towards our japa shows in our relationships, our life, our services and everything. Because when I'm chanting, I'm not thinking that Krishna is a person. I'm not thinking that I'm actually associating with Krishna, that Krishna is here with me, Krishna is dancing on my tongue, like Prabhupada said. We are not thinking in these terms. We are thinking of some words or just a mechanical process that I must complete this in 2 hours, 16 rounds complete, and then I can get to my other agenda for the day. It's sometimes devotees feel a pressure that I have to complete 16 rounds. It's like something you have to do. It's not like something that you must do out of natural affection, but it becomes a burden. It becomes a routine process. And therefore, for many years, we don't see sometimes a difference. One senior devotee, he said once that well, let me ask this to all of you before I say, what do you think is the rarest thing in this world in terms of spiritual life? Yes, Prabhu. Serving a pure devotee. Yes. Serving a devotee, pure devotee, is extremely rare. But there's something even more rare, that even after serving a pure devotee, something can be lacking. What is that? Any ideas? What is the rarest thing in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness? It's similar. It's very close to that, but right. So what's happening there? What is the rare thing? What is something that's so rare that's happening that only one person in a million is able to get there? If we see, yes, Mant.
I would say something very rare is to develop actual pure love and affection.
Developing actual pure love and affection for Krishna. Yes, very close. Yes, Mant.
Non-enviousness.
Non-enviousness. Hmm. Yes, I think that's, yeah, yes, that's true. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, yes, true. Association of devotees is the rarest. All these answers are very true and very close. What I'm looking for is something more practical in our society of devotees. When we observe that so many devotees exist and they're engaged, and yet over a long period of time, if we see what is the rarest thing in spiritual life, it is advancement of consciousness. Uh, that is something extremely rare. Um, bec- I won't take his name, but once one very senior devotee in our movement, very amazing leader, he said that someone asked him that, Maharaj, what is your greatest fear regarding ISKCON or regarding devotees or this society? And Maharaj said, my greatest fear is that our society will just remain a society of Kanishthas. That is a little strong, but it is very true and relevant. It's that because, and when we connect these two things, that advancement of consciousness is actually really rare, and then our society may remain a society of Kanishthas, which means to say, doesn't mean that our society is we have many amazing advanced devotees in our society, but by and large, if we see out of the hundreds of thousands or millions of people that we have, it again comes to the same principle that if we do not increase the intensity, or if we are not putting the heart in the process, then even after 20, 30, 40 years of practice, we will not see any advancement of consciousness. We will not see any real shift in our consciousness. And therefore, it's very important that we take this very, very seriously and take individual responsibility of not remaining a Kanishta, of not just hanging in the movement, not just existing in the movement, but actually making progress. You wanted to say something, Mataji?
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that the most rare thing is advancement of consciousness, but I see that so many devotees are advancing
Mm-hmm.
consciousness. Like we have Krishna House in Gainesville,
Mm-hmm.
come in, who's totally, clueless, and very quickly they advance in consciousness, their perspective changes, they let go of a lot of material attachments,
Mm-hmm.
build actual attraction to Krishna and process of bhakti. So, I mean, I feel like everybody's advancing in consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
maybe some faster than others, but what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who's chanting and serving is advancing.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I think the point here is not to deny that there is advancement of consciousness continuously going on in the movement, in the society, among the devotees, respective to their level of practice. I think the principle here that these devotees who made these comments are meant to express, or what I'm trying to express, is that there comes a time in every devotee's life, there may be initial attraction and initial boost in Krishna consciousness, starting few years. But in every devotee's life, there comes a plateau where you've advanced, where, it's said that how we are unfinished yogis, how we have some baggage of Krishna consciousness from our previous lifetimes. Once we reach that point, once we are introduced to Krishna consciousness, and once we reach that point of consciousness that we left our bodies in the past life, now then the effort really begins. And when that plateau comes in our life, then these things really start mattering at that now how much effort and how much more effort we have to put to make that next step. It gets more, advancement of consciousness becomes more and more difficult, so to say, or slow, the more we progress, so to say. And I think we all can kind of experience that there's more effort, more heart that we must put, and more enthusiasm, determination, and so on, to actually cross that plateau in our life, to actually then, go to the higher stages of bhakti and, develop those internal symptoms as mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that, those symptoms of a devotee, that time should not be wasted, and so on. So I think that the principle is that not to deny that there is not advancement. There is definitely advancement that we can see around us, but also there is a lot of lack of heart in the movement or in the process. It may appear externally as very glittering sometimes, but then I think every individual is witness to their own struggles and their own reality of how much intensity and how much heart they are putting in the movement, in the process. Yes, true. If you could be louder, please.
So, Narattam says, right, consciousness, let's say it begins with the Sankuchita consciousness, which is like inner or
Covered consciousness.
the consciousness is so much kind of unpacked.
Hmm.
And then, like a bud, slowly starts blossoming. So, there are various stages explained like Sankuchita, Pulika, and the fullest, final, the topmost stage is called Prafulita consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Fully blossom flower. That seems to be there.
Yes. Yes, Mataji.
Another thing is that devotees who are very advanced, they don't show it.
Mm-hmm.
It's even advised that it's very devotion that even though one may be on a high platform, Bhagwan, but they should still go on acting like a hero Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we might judge by external things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, everybody's Krishna.
Mm.
All your friends. But you don't know what's going on in the heart and mind of the person.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they are showing some very deep transcendental emotions within, but they're not showing it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very careful.
It's true. I want to clarify that by no means do we should we judge any other devotee or judge their level of devotional service. And like I said, that statement was a heavy statement, but there was a principle behind that statement. Not that devotee was not saying Krishna, that ISKCON is a society of Kanishtas. He said that ISKCON may remain a society of Kanishtas was his fear, because he's a guru and he has thousands of disciples, and so he knows more of the internal life of his disciples than we may know. So because he was experiencing that, and he was experiencing their struggle, so this was just his lamentation that, he does not want that to happen, and so he was encouraging people to be more serious, more deep in their sadhana. And like I said, we can see all around us how people are transforming, how they are transforming, how their lives are transforming, how they are making so much advancement, internal and external, and we can observe that. So by no means are we anyone to judge any other person, any other devotee, their devotional life, but this is more as an individual responsibility that we all should look in ourselves and within ourselves at how pure is my execution of coming back to the verse. It's like devotional service can be contaminated, or the execution can be contaminated by the desires and material desires and contaminations and the qualities of the executioner. So how pure is my execution, my intention, where I am, where I need to be, and what should I do to grow further, to show that I care, to really put my heart in this process. Yes, Ruba.
I was thinking about, we've always talked about the intensity,
Mm.
and I forget what it describes, but there's three qualifiers that normally go together to describe something. And intensity, frequency, and duration.
Mm.
In mathematics, those three always go together. And so I was kind of thinking that, when you were saying about the plateau, that it might be good in devotional service to have the intensity match up the level of frequency and duration, and that would be sustainable. And then also, I was reminded of the Vikram was talking about the Vija, and it has the different stages of devotional service, which is nourished by sadhana.
Mm.
But actually, I had a question.
Yes, Ruba. Yes, Ruba.
I had a question about the four different types of people that
Mm.
come to devotional service and the Mishra Bhakti. I didn't catch if you mentioned the person who comes in distress, if there was a name for that. The person that comes, if that was a name for
Yes.
they kind of mix.
Yes. Yeah. Chaturvida bhajante mam. Right. 4 types of people approach. I think. So, you said you had a question? Oh, that is it? Okay. Okay. Yes, Ruba.
Talking about intensity, I was thinking from this different perspective, the effect of intensity in terms of the benefit to the society's mind. Like Vinci Prabhupada once mentioned, like if all of my followers, they restrain their senses and be fully engaged in intensity, they just want to take over the whole world for 18 or 20 minutes.
Hmm. Yes, it's true. Yeah, I'll just end by just again saying that the pure devotional service is extremely, extremely rare, and because we are in this amazing society of devotees and we are in this movement, sometimes we may take it cheaply and for granted that because we may not have as much exposure to the outside world of people who are millions of people, billions of people who are suffering and who have nothing to do with devotional service. So being in this close proximity of devotees and being in this environment and society, we may take it cheaply and take it for granted. That, I'm following the regulative principles, I'm chanting rounds, I'm going back to Godhead. But devotional service is extremely rare. It's like that pure bhakti, pure consciousness is extremely rare. And that's the whole point of this discussion, that to take it seriously, to try to take it seriously, and yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.